I'm the mentor. As a mentor, some of my roles are to provide practical information to the mentee.
So I am the mentee, the one being mentored, and it was hard for me to pick up the phone and make that first phone call because I didn't know who was going to be on the other end, and if I was going to be matched with somebody who was going to tell me how to do things, and I don't like to be told what to do and how to do it. I wanted a sympathetic ear, and I wanted some very specific information. What happens when my son gets older?
My name is Manny Castro. My wife's name is Nicole. We have an 11-year-old daughter, Lexi, who's perfectly healthy, and our 8-year-old son, Ian, has mitochondrial disease.
My name is Maureen Ben-Scooter, and I have a 14-year-old son, George Ben-Scooter. We adopted George from Korea when he was 7 months old, but soon after he got home to us here in Austin, it became pretty clear that things weren't quite right. He just wasn't doing the normal physical things that you'd expect a 7-month-old to do.
My name is Patricia Zarati, and I have a 5-year-old son named Benjamin Lucas. We call him Benny Lou. Anyway, he was diagnosed with autism, high-functioning autism.
Lexi was born 5 weeks early. That, in a way, prepared us for the road that was coming with Ian.
We have 4 children, all of whom were adopted from Korea. But George was different than the other 3 children that we had adopted.
Lexi's situation medically was temporary. It was just the first 2 weeks of her life. For Ian, it's a lifelong journey that we're gonna go through with Ian in terms of his medical condition and what it means for him health-wise.
I finally was able to go through all the different scenarios and go through all the different doctors, and nobody was seeing anything overtly obvious that he was having issues.
No diagnosis. Every test that we did on the boy was normal. There was no reason for his extreme developmental delay, and as he got older, the milestones got further and further behind.
That's when it was definitely these feelings of, you know, what does this mean for us? Because once we get checked into the hospital, we have a neurologist come in, we have a immunologist come in, we have a geneticist come in.
And they finally gave us the diagnosis. I felt relieved that it wasn't just me being a crappy parent. I felt sad for him though, that, you know, there was something really going on with him.
Scared is a big one. Uncertain. What does this mean for this baby that's being given to us, entrusted to us? What do we do, not having gone down this path before? Just a lot of uncertainty and being scared and feeling lost. And where do we find the answers? You know, there's a lot of parenting books, but there's not a lot of information out there in terms of what to do when your child is not healthy.
And no one who gets a diagnosis doesn't feel alone in that moment. And they desperately need to be given a phone number or, you know, a direction to find the other parents. That is key to parents healing from the devastation of a diagnosis.
I called Texas Parent to Parent and I said, I've got this weird situation. I don't have a diagnosis and I don't know what the future is. And what we want, what my husband and I want, is someone who's further along the road than us and can tell us what's ahead for these teenage years. Because nobody can tell us what's gonna happen next. And we were very scared that it was gonna be beyond our control.
So I did call Texas Parent to Parent. When she hooked me up with the parent, the mentor, she would, you know, tell me stories of what her child did, and it also gave me hope because she did have children that were older than mine, and she was like, they do make it. They make it.
One of the organizations that we came across was Texas Parent to Parent, and we went to the annual conference. We went to a session on grief, And that session was led by Patty Geisinger from Texas Parent to Parent. And so it was through that meeting, Patty personally, that put us in touch with a family, with a mom who had lost her son to mitochondrial disease.
Parents come to Texas Parent to Parent in a variety of ways. If they find our number or they find us online, they'll give us a call, or they may even just go straight to our website. And on our website is this wonderful place that says Join Our Family. And when you join our family, you can sign up for two things. One may be just to get the newsletter. The other one may be to ask for a parent match.
One day my phone rang and it was Patty over at Texas Parent to Parent and said, I've got this parent who's looking for a match, and would you be willing to do that? And I was.
And that's kind of what Parent to Parent does. It's just a formal structure around what happens naturally between two parents who've been on this journey together. Nobody else gets it, really, truly. No one else is going to understand what this is like except another parent who's been there.
And then there's just this sense of release when you can talk to somebody about your outrageously behaving child who's got special needs, so you feel bad about describing their bad behavior, but that sense of relief to be able to say to somebody who's in the same boat, well, can you believe what he did yesterday? And she's like, yeah, I can, because he was doing this. And you don't feel like a monster for sharing some of the bad things that are going on in your life.
I think a lot of it was sharing information, specific information about development or about behavior, and getting to know each other's sons and where they were at in terms of age and development. But then there was just a lot of just sharing stories with each other about our kids.
Whenever I got my first call to speak with her, she would, tell me stories of what her child did, and it really connected to what my issues were, because some of those exact same things were happening in my child.
And knowing that we got that connection or that reference to that doctor through this relationship with Texas Parent to Parent, I don't know what would have happened if we would have waited another 6 months or a year, because if we would have found this information out, it would have been through looking online or just stumbling across somebody else that possibly mentioned, because this is a condition not a lot of people are familiar with. And so it could have been a long time, and there's no telling where Ian would be medically if we would have waited.
That's the biggest thing for me, is that I wasn't alone, and that this lady has actually had to deal with all those things that, I would used to sit and cry every day about, what his future would hold. And now I'm a lot more positive. I'm a lot more hopeful. I think it'll be better. I don't cry every day anymore like I used to, and now it's sporadic. It's really not as bad, but I'm definitely more hopeful than I was before. I just think having a mentor, it's like a best friend, and it is like somebody that won't judge you and think that you are the bad parent.
Earlier in this journey, when George was about 8 years old, I had a sense that Texas Parent to Parent was a helpful organization. They matched me with Denise, and that was great. In the last 18 months, as I have come to know the organization more and found out more about what it does, I'm just amazed at the depth and breadth of the supports that it offers to parents of children with all kinds of diagnoses, and the innovative programs. It's really, really worthwhile picking up the phone and making that first phone call. It's amazing, and they're tremendous people at the organization, and everyone there has a child with a disability. We're all in it together.
Call us, email us. We are parents ourselves. We can help. We can connect you with other families.